That's the one worrying thing I do find, is that our young players are now looking elsewhere. Not in the Premier League, they're looking to go elsewhere.
It's positive, though, isn't it?
Positive in some respects, but I want to be in England and I want to watch young English players come through.
I agree.
That's the problem. And Phil Foden, you could question whether he's right to stay there. I think he's earning great experience training with the best players. That's fantastic. But at the end of the day, you find out about people out there on the pitch. And it's like the same with Loftus-Cheek's the perfect example. Yeah. Went to a World Cup off the back of a good few games for Crystal Palace. Comes back to Chelsea, sit down, get on the bench.
So how can it be a negative to go abroad, play top flight in Germany?
It's a positive in some extent, but ideally you want him to come through here.
You want to see talent here. Unfortunately, they've got this raft of players above them where there's so much money in the Premier League. Why take a chance on a 17, 18-year-old kid when his form could go like that, when you can go and buy, a full international who's played 50 times for this country? You can go and get him from anywhere you want. And that's the sad thing for all us English players sitting here. We all got our chances at a young age coming through the clubs, and that's what we want to see. We want to see more and more English players come through, but we know how difficult it is.
You know what, though, Maka? I mean, you're the perfect person to speak in terms of this, but you went abroad at a really, obviously, more experienced stage within your career, right at your peak. And the experiences you went through at a massive football club, you can't say that wouldn't have, if you'd have done that a lot younger, it wouldn't have helped you with England at major tournaments or at an English club. I just think that, what Jadon's going through right now and what he's experiencing at a massive football club, by the way, in Germany, and the pressures of doing that in the Champions League, that's only going to help England in the long run. We're always talking about not being able to perform at major tournaments and that the Germans manage to do it or the Spanish can do it because they play this style of football and that style of football. Well, I'm all for it. Our younger players going out there and getting experience. And we have now got an England side where we don't have the luxury of just picking from the Premier League anymore, which is why we're getting Mason Mount in the team, who's a fantastic talent. But he's in the Championship, but he's getting minutes. So, I mean, I personally was disappointed that Foden wasn't in the team, because again, I look at our midfield and I kind of go, we need something different in there. I want a ball carrier. I want someone who's comfortable receiving the ball.
Not getting a chance.
I think we're in a moment now where I can look at a player. We talk about Club England all the time. Well, if it's Club England, then you promote from within. And Gareth would have seen Phil, through 17s, 18s, 19s, 20, wherever he's been playing, and gone promote from within. That's Club England. So. And as Rio said, his education of training with Manchester City every single day. I'm sorry, but for me personally, that's enough. I'm saying, come and train with us. And he would have seen him. That's enough for me.
You don't mind? I mean, his performance against Oxford, albeit it was Oxford, was excellent. Sorry, George. Was excellent, wasn't it? And he was brilliant there. And I don't mind Gareth bringing them in and having a look at them in training and playing them if they want and seeing if they're ready and seeing what they're like around the dressing room and seeing what they're like with other players. I've got no problem with that at all. But if he's taken somebody's place who's playing week in, week out and playing very well, and then suddenly this kid who's not playing much is in front of you, I think that's when it starts to get a problem. I'm all for these young kids going and play. I just think they need minutes. That's why I'm fine with them all going out on loan, as long as they're playing proper men's football where 3 points means absolutely everything to your teammates.
And I think a big part of Jadon's makeup, which is being proved now, is his mentality. For a young kid at that age who's being told he's the next best thing at one of the biggest clubs in our country, for him to say, hold on a minute, I don't believe I'm going to get the minutes, I'm going to go elsewhere, and then start producing, that's massive.
That's exactly what people are saying on here, and thanks for your comments. James says, Jadon Sancho moving to the Bundesliga is not a failure of the English system. It's about a brave young man making a decision to try and better himself. If others follow his lead, it will not be to the detriment of English football. It will make our national team better. Alex says, I'm strongly rooting for Jadon Sancho to keep doing well at Dortmund. He's the perfect example for Chelsea of what they could lose if they don't give Hudson-Odoi ample minutes. And actually, that's a really good message, that, because if you're now a manager in the Premier League, you think, you know what, I like that guy, but he's only 18. I'm not sure I can trust him yet. I'll leave him on the bench. I won't play him. Well, guess what? You're now going to have their agents and the players knocking on your door going, I've seen Jadon Sancho at Dortmund, so that's an option for me. And thankfully, clubs in the Bundesliga or maybe other European clubs will give our young players an opportunity. And surely, eventually, the managers in the Premier League will go, I better play that guy because I'm going to lose him.
The amount of players now that are going on loan to foreign clubs, not just in the Championship. There's lots. Liverpool have had them, Chelsea have had them. Everybody's having them now. That is opening the door to everybody, whether it be Holland, Germany, Italy.
Because we need to find a way to put pressure on managers in the Premier League to play these players.
It comes from the owners of the clubs, though. It comes from the owners of the clubs that you're going to be afforded the time to integrate young players into this team. We spend how much ever money, how many millions a year on our youth system at our training grounds. And as an owner, you have to demand to see a certain quota come through.
There's
in a number
something
of
else
years.
about this as well, though, isn't there? Because you could look at Loftus-Cheek at Chelsea, and you don't get the impression that he would make Chelsea a worse side or would put pressure on the manager. There still seems to be this thing about English
system,
players.
Jay, that's why. When you come through the system, it's not as hard for the club to kind of go, well, you're not playing or you're not going to come through.
They've paid no
when
money
they
for
put
you.
money on your head, somebody's got to answer for something, because that's how I came through the system. I was at Nottingham Forest. Newcastle put down huge money for me at the time as a teenager, and I arrive at Newcastle, and I'm telling you, my first 2 weeks at Newcastle, I was shocking. Like in training, I was absolutely shocking. Couldn't control about it.
That didn't change much over the years.
Leave it out. I had to get that in. All right, lads. But because of the money they put on me, Bobby, and because he was the one who really kind of said, I believe it, and that's why you're going to spend it. They got to play you. You've got backing, and that's what these players have to do. They need to get some backing behind them, and Rubin's, he's a prime example of that.
It's hard for him. We were at the game last week. You've got Barkley not playing, Drinkwater not playing, Fabregas not playing, and then you throw in Loftus-Cheek as well. I mean, you see how difficult it's going to be for the lad to get in the first team. New manager comes in, everything's a fresh slate with everybody, and he's way down the list. So it might be a case of, unfortunately for Chelsea, that his contract runs out and he moves on again to bigger and better things, because he's just played in the World Cup and he's come back and he's not playing at all.
One thing Sarri did say about Loftus-Cheek, he said, I've got to coach him to play the way I want to play. I saw that in the media. So that's one good thing. He's going to get coached well, because this guy looks like he's a fantastic coach.